Hello everyone, this is Kiran here. Today we are going to take interview for Mahesh, and this interview, first interview of mine from Stack, where we'll be covering various things like React, Node, JavaScript, HTML, and everything like MongoDB. So let's see how Mahesh performs in this. And Mahesh is well versed with React, Node, CSS, JS, and many more things. I can see in his resume these all things. So welcome Mahesh.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. So you have mentioned that you are good at HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right?
Yes.
And Python also.
Yes,
So
a little.
when I see Python being which batch you are passed out?
I'm 2023.
Okay. So my first question here would be, you know Python also.
Yes.
So what difference you observed between Python and this Munstack?
The difference which I observed was Python is very human readable language. Though JavaScript also is similar, it is not that tough to read. These both are high level languages, so it wasn't hard for me to switch from Python to JavaScript. Moreover, my major purpose of shifting from Python to JavaScript was because most of the components, like for the backend, if we look for MongoDB with your Node or Express.js, it becomes very familiar to use just one language for all the purposes. So that's why
One language means?
one language as in JavaScript for
Okay.
backend as a front end.
But in Python also it's same, right?
Yes, but like on the demand basis also, I saw that.
But in
Monster.
Python, you see data science, machine learning, AI. That's also booming, right?
That's right, sir. But we can maybe shift in future. But for now, I feel like Munstack would be.
So
a
that's
best
your
choice.
personal opinion, and you feel good in the Munstack than the Python, and that's why you shifted, maybe,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you ever hear about like Java full stack, .NET full stack?
Yes, sir.
So this is one more full stack, like Mon full stack, right?
Yes.
So it's not necessary that you have done research on other full stack things, but if you have done, could you please explain me like how this Mon full stack, you feel better, or maybe how it is different from the Java full stack or .NET full stack or Python full stack?
There are 2-3 reasons, sir. As a Java developer, if you want to go as a Java developer, if you check for that, I did my research before looking for like going into Munstack. So as a Java developer, first of all, it is a little bit tough. It's like Java, you have to be strict on how you are declaring the data types, how you're coding actually. Your compile time, at compile time only you will get the most errors, as you can see. So it's not very beginner friendly if you go for Java's as a core language. Moreover, my second reason of not choosing Java as a full stack was about the the opportunities which are there in the market. There are in India, but mostly if you look for international market, mostly startups which are going like establishing bigger businesses, they need someone who can be quick and easier and simpler to expand their businesses. And most of them prefer Mern as their tech stack to go forward. These were the reasons.
Okay.
That's why I chose it.
When we talk about enterprise applications, what do you think? What does it mean by enterprise applications?
Enterprises application means where there would be strict rules, there would be regulations on how the system is going to work, there would be a waterfall flow about how the product is going to be developed. So those are more strict, and we can say mostly it depends on how they are going to use the technology as it was from before. Like most enterprises try to choose Java because that was the language which was going through from a very long time, and that was one language which was stable in the enterprise market.
Okay. So let me explain you, like there is web application and there is enterprise application. So now enterprise applications also use web application, okay?
Right.
But the enterprise applications, mainly why we say it's enterprise, like big, it's not big client we will be using, but enterprise means when data flows from one system to another system, when files will be transferred from one system to another system, that happens in banking mostly. Different formats will be manipulated. If scattered data is there, then changing that data through ETL So different systems are involved in one application.
Right.
That time we can say that is an enterprise application. Web application is simple, like sending data to the database and bringing that one. And to simplify that process, there is a MERN stack. So some part would be in the MERN stack, some would be in the Java full stack also. So doesn't mean that one application use only one thing. Some modules might be running in full Java, Python, something like data science thing, then it will be used in Python also.
Right. Right.
So that is how enterprise means, mainly data flowing from one system to another system.
Right.
Let's say Bank of America is there, they are sending data to RBI or maybe some other agency.
Right.
Or credit score, you are going to any other credit score agency like CIBIL in India. There are many Experian in US, it's like that. So that is mainly the enterprise applications. Okay, so good. So that was just warm up things which I have asked. You wrote something about SEO practices also.
Yes, sir.
So what do you mean by SEO?
SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and it's a practice which we use to rank our website organically on the Google search.
But how it helps
Not just
you to do that in React?
When we try to use React, React actually helps us to boost as we try to use all the tags which are there in the HTML, which are directly get implemented using the React. So,
For example,
if we build a component, or else if we just build a normal function which is implementing a return of an HTML functionality. So when we try to implement that, that actually helps SEO to understand how the structure of our HTML flow is through the DOM structure. And by using that, if we try to use the manipulation of keywords of SEO friendly keywords, then we can rank on Google.
okay, let's say if I give you one website to you, let's say maybe ICICIbank.com or any other, thekiranacademy.com.
Okay.
If I ask you to identify which technologies are used for this website, how you will identify? You have internet you have website name. That's it.
I know one it's Chrome extension which is known as Vapalizer. If you use that extension, it helps you get the information about what all technologies has been used
In
that.
backend also?
Yes, in backend
Okay.
also.
So
Or else, I guess who is daddy is who is.
but
who
that is external thing.
Yeah.
So if I don't allow you to do external thing, then
To find out how this website is built on which technology, I have mostly
at
used.
least let's say 5 technologies are used. Maybe React, Express, Angular, maybe something, HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
Okay.
So at least some technologies you can identify by seeing a website.
Yeah, I can see by website or maybe by
By
dev
making-
tools. Dev tools, if I could check the
Okay.
networking files, what all files are used. From there also I can
Okay,
get an
so
idea.
dev tools means that
Yeah.
network thing.
Yes.
By inspecting a website, you should say.
Yes.
Right? Correct. Let's say node tags you use, then you can see those clearly visible in view source, right?
Right.
Did you ever gone through that view source thing or
Yes.
inspecting? For what purpose?
To know about the structure, to know about how data flows from one click,
Why to know?
to understand how backend also works, how integration of.
But that's again a study, right?
Right.
To implement any project, why you need to look at the inspect part of the website? See, you want to know it, like how data goes and all, but that's the information, right?
Right.
When you're working in my organization, I'm least care about whether you know things or not. I want you to develop software, that's it. Right? So why you go through that inspecting?
Dev tools actually not just help us understand about the structure, but it also helps us in various different flows. So, for example, if I join a company tomorrow and they have already built an application and they tell me to work on this application on this particular node, to me to understand the whole structure, I could either go through the code, the source code, and try to understand how the data flow is, or else I can use the dev tools to understand the website's structure, website's flow, how data flows inside that, what all.
But again, that's again about the information, right? That
Right.
in a KT session, I will be just explaining you. If I'm your project manager, I'll explain like how data flows and everything else. But while coding, why you need to go into the inspect? I will tell you the answer. Whenever there are some JavaScript errors, if you don't understand, JavaScript errors you cannot see, right?
Yeah, we can actually.
So then you need to go inspect.
V8 engine is there inside.
If some call, if you are clicking submit button, and if your call is not reaching or data is not coming from the backend,
Right.
maybe from Node, then again you can see that in the network,
Right.
right? Which file is there?
What
Let's say I want to change some color. Okay, so you cannot go into the file directly. First, you do that in the inspect. That HTML thing is there, right? Element is a
Right.
tab. So there you try changing something, and then if that appears correctly, then you go into your code and then you change.
Modify.
So you got the point.
Yes.
So it's not for information. Obviously, it is for that. But when I hire you, I might not need you to know the information. I might need you to just code and deliver the things, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's not a problem. So I was just going through your resume, and firstly, I tried to ask you many things. I can see like React.js, Node.js, Next.js, many more things. So React.js, Node.js, then Next.js. So I don't know how much you are aware about everything. So can you differentiate React, Node, Next?
React, so React is a UI front end technology which we use. So after HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, React helps us in the front end by building the easier way of structuring the website. We use component based functionalities in React, and it's like a jumbled up collection of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which is in a form of JSX files. And the best part is you can write HTML and JavaScript code together inside it. And we use Babel to decrypt the code. So Babel helps us to understand the React code. React was introduced by Facebook to check that the major reason of using React was the
Can you
virtual
go
DOM.
with the in brief actually, because I need React, Node, and Next.js difference. Okay.
Okay.
So if you concentrate too much on the React, then I might forget to hear Node.js, right? So I just need like how you differentiate between React.js, Node.js, and Next.js.
Okay, sir. So
And if you are not aware, you can directly say like, no, I'm not aware about the JS. I just wrote it.
all right, sir. So React was used as a UI development technology. Node is used as a backend server-side technology, which is based on JavaScript as well. And Next.js is a framework which is used similar to React, but it has much more different functionalities like React. And it is like the new technologies, new frameworks, new things which are much more performance-wise better than React. So many companies use.
Why that
Next.js.
Node.js? JS is there.
JS stands for JavaScript, sir. So Node is used. JavaScript was only implemented for the front end side in the beginning, but people needed the similar language at the back end also. So they introduced Node.js so that they can script JavaScript on the backend server, so that they can communicate between the front end and the back.
Okay, does JavaScript supports OOPS concepts?
Yes, sir, it supports
For example,
inheritance, then class-based components, classes which we use.
so you can write classes in JavaScript.
Yes, sir. In the ES6, before ES6, it was used widely, mostly as class-based components. After ES6, ECMAScript 6, they started using function-based components mostly. So yeah, before it used to use much. Now,
So did you ever use that? Any OOPS concept?
OOPS concepts or inheritance I have used. So whatever properties parents have.
Can you explain me that scenario when it was needed to use in your project or any sample application?
Yes, so I have used class-based component in my the Mahesh Tweets project. It was a what we call Twitter-based project where I had to take the text from the tweet and put it in the text box of that particular tweet. There I used class-based component because I needed as I was accessing the parent of the tweet, there were many replies inside a tweet as well. So to make it understand which tweet I'm actually accessing to, I was accessing the parent node and I was putting a if condition inside it. So all the childs which were there inside the parent tweets were differentiated by their indexing. So I was accessing the indexing about which,
But why inheritance there?
why inheritance there.
You did it, I understand, but my question is still stick to why you use inheritance in that case. You got my point.
Yes, sir.
Not a problem. What do you think? Node.js is multi-threaded or single-threaded?
It's single-threaded language, sir.
Then how it handles multiple people at a time?
It handles using it has a call stack. So in call stacks, some of the processes like functions, some promises, they go into a stack which like micro task stacks, and they stay there. So mostly JavaScript is on a interpreted language, so it goes line by line. So whatever the process which is taking time goes into this like the queue which is in the processing and goes to the next line. So that is why
Yeah, it is based on the
able to-
event-driven architecture actually.
yeah, event-driven architecture,
And non-blocking code will be there.
non-blocking code, right, sir?
What is synchronous API and asynchronous API?
Synchronous API means it will go in the synchronous format, like one after another. Asynchronous is it won't move forward until and unless that particular API is completing its task. Whatever the time is required by that particular API will be taken if it's declared as an asynchronous API. So it will take its time. Then afterwards, the next API or whatever the code is will run.
You heard about mean also
Yes, sir.
and MERN also. So you are aware about MERN, not mean, right?
Yeah, I am
Good.
aware of both, sir.
About both. Okay, so both of any you can do, but that's best that you know. People says that mean is slower than MERN.
Right.
So why you may think exact?
So major difference is Angular versus React, sir. So what I know about it is that React is a library. It is technically a library, though it is called a framework, but it's technically a library. Instead of that, Angular is a framework. So what's the major difference between these two are frameworks are already predefined, structured base, like components are already there inside it. React is one which we can customize according to our needs. So React has the ability to modify and manipulate the already built-in components which are there inside it, and Angular has already predefined functions.
What's the problem?
Problem is about modifications, sir. That
So that's ease of using it, right? I'm asking why it might be faster and why it might be slower, little slower. Yeah, because see, Angular needs TypeScript, right?
right,
Whereas here, Node,
We can
Express,
use
everything is JavaScript.
right,
So one language transmission of data happens. Their language differs,
right,
and that takes little bit time.
right, right.
You got my point.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's why looks like it is a little slower than the
React.
React. You got my point.
Yes.
What is REPL in Node.js?
Sir, it's read, eval, assign, and loop.
Mm-hmm.
So it is the flow of how Node actually works.
Mm-hmm.
So REPL is also a website where we get the Node server already implemented. So if we don't have Node inside our own system, we can use REPL website to write our JavaScript code. So
You know Ajax.
yes, sir, a little bit.
Why? What?
Ajax it was an older version of how we used to write JavaScript with HTML. After that, we had JSX. That's all I know about it.
JSX full form?
JSX stands for JavaScript XML.
Correct. Why we use XML?
Because XML is the HTML code which is implemented in the JavaScript. That's why JSX.
Okay. What's the beauty of XML? Or what's great in XML? Because the JavaScript, Java, Python, this every technology is there. But what is the XML? How you differ XML and JSON?
XML was a format of writing the data to store a data. It was before used as a storing of data in a
Okay.
format. Then we started using JSON because JSON was more like a dictionary, if you know about
Perfect.
Python, because I have come from
Yes.
Python before, so I know about how dictionaries work. So in that
So it is a
format,
little bit easier.
yeah, because if we can access the key and we can get the value directly, it's easier to communicate between JSON files.
Okay. What are the data types are there in the JSON? In JavaScript.
Data types, we have primitive and non-primitive. In primitive, we have integer, boolean, big int. Then we have null. These are special data types. Null, undefined. Then for non-primitive, we have.
When you say null, I remember another question like how you will identify if any value is number or not in JavaScript.
NaN, not a number. To identify if it's not a number, we can check type of is one which we use to check the type of.
Does JavaScript throws an exceptions?
Yes, it shows exceptions.
So when it will throw?
Uh,
Let's say 5 plus Kiran. What is going to happen?
Sir, 5 plus Kiran, so it tries to convert that 5 into string. So if you do 5 plus Kiran, I guess it will give us
When
5
not a number
Kiran.
exception will occur.
I guess not a number will occur in this situation only. I don't remember the order, but
Right.
if there is a numeric plus a string, or if there are two different data types trying to concatenate, they actually give a not a number error out of them.
Then easily you can identify if some input is there.
Yes, sir.
Because to identify one number you will already know like whether it is string, boolean or what. And input will be number or something. You
Right,
just
right.
try to concatenate if exception occurs.
Yes, sir.
What's DOM?
DOM stands for Document Object Model. It is a tree-like structure which has nodes at the end of it, and these nodes contain the elements, the functionalities of the whole tree. So in DOM, it starts from the document. Then these documents come into a window. This window is the main structure of our browser's homepage, and there's this keyword also in it, which has all the similar properties of what we have in the window. After that, all the HTML whole structure from the head to your body, the whole structure is divided into the DOM.
Text box is there, right? So where it will come?
If you're using text box inside the body tag, so after window, it will come into HTML to body to your text.
As a MERN stack developer, if I want to ask you a question, I want to develop an application where it's very small, like sign up page will be there.
Okay.
User will be putting in data.
Mhm.
And after submitting that data should get stored in a database.
Okay.
And one ID should get generated.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
And that ID should be displayed on the thank you page. Like thank you for registering and this is what your ID.
Okay.
So right from beginning to end,
Mhm.
but not at the depth level, I need at the high level.
Okay.
How you will code?
Okay. I can either start from the backend or I can start from the front end.
So
Both
start
are-
from the front end.
All right. So I may choose React because React
Yeah.
will make it all easier. So I'll choose React. I'll start with building the basic structure of form. So I'll
In HTML?
HTML, right? I'll create a form. The request I will put it will be get request
Or
no,
post?
Post request I will put it because I'm sending the data also. So I'll put the post request in the form. Whatever information, I'll put the text inputs, submit button, and
Whatever maybe.
yeah, this will be the front end part. After that, for the back end, I'll start with building a server, initial server. Maybe I'll go with a local, or if I'm going with a online AWS server or anything. So I can build a server in the beginning. After that, I'll go for the database. So whatever information I'm getting, I'll use Express to handle those data using the post request which I'm getting, and I'll be storing it into the MongoDB or whatever server if I'm using a MySQL or a MongoDB server.
So let's say MongoDB.
Yeah. So I can put that the information in the database server.
So in database, what you will create first, or nothing? It's just empty.
I'll create a basic database in the beginning for storing that in the what we call binary format. So I will convert that using the Express, and I'll store it in the binary format inside the MongoDB.
This is not a complete story, right? I need something also.
Yeah. Whatever the request after storing, when I'll get after storing into the MongoDB server, if I get a 200 request from there that successfully has been done. So after that, from the Express, I'll send a request to the front end, get request to the front end, where I will route.
How you will send?
I've actually not communicated with database yet, sir. That how.
But let's say it is stored. Just imagine it is stored or not stored, doesn't matter. But you want to send something back to your page, right?
Right. So from Node, I can use routing to communicate with the React and Node. The communication will happen that 200 requests has come from the database. If that request has come, route to this page.
Yeah. So where you will write a generation logic, some number need to be generated, right?
The token you're talking about, sir. Token we can actually.
After the 200 requests you will generate, or before 200 requests you will generate?
Afterwards, after storing it in the database.
Okay. Let's say you stored the data.
Right.
Then 200 response you receive in Express.
Right.
Express. You will validate whether it is 200 or not. Right. Then you generate a code.
Yes.
Something, right?
Yes.
How you generate? Any clue?
I can use an API or an API which can generate a unique token for every. Or maybe I can use a mat.random to generate a.
But let's say mat.random today generates 567 and tomorrow also generate 567. Then
I can put a function to it that.
Where is this 567? How tomorrow that function will get to know that yesterday 567 was generated? You got
I'll
my
have
point.
to again. It will get complex. That we'll have to again store maybe into the database and check if that token is already inside the database. If the same token is.
So you mean to say 200 request comes in, then you generate, then you again store that in your database, then again coming back and then sending to user like that?
Yeah, maybe that is how I can use. This may slow the process, I guess. For generating the tokenization, I may
just
use
the random number. I'm okay with the random number. That doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
But random number generation itself has a problem, because random number today it will generate 567. Then after 10 days again it will generate 567. Then how you will handle this thing?
I'll put a if condition, sir.
So you are not storing that token number into database, you mean to say?
I'll have to store it. To verify, I'll have to store that token with that associated data. That whatever data, if this person is submitting a data, so that person will have a token which will also be getting inside the database and will be assigned to that. Okay. So next time, whenever there's any next request, this token generation of mine would check whether if there's any similar token already available.
Okay. So you mean to say after coming from database, you will be generating and then again storing into database, and next time whenever person hits it, that time you will be checking in the database if that token number is already exist. If exist, then again generate another one.
No, I'll send it with the post request only in the beginning.
So in post you will be sending, and in Express you will be generating it again.
Right.
So then data will get saved.
Yeah, and I will validate next time when I will be sending another token.
Yeah, that's what my problem is. Let's say first time it is stored, token number, right?
Right.
And user received it.
Okay.
Got it. Next time again, I'm sending an request, post request.
Okay.
Again, you are generating.
Right.
But while generating, you will go into database and checking whether it is already there or not.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
If it found,
then generate again.
now let's say there are millions of records.
Okay.
Then again you are checking with million. Oh, it's found, again generate. Oh, it's found, then again generate. Do you think this is a way to do that thing? You got my point.
Right, sir, I got it. When the data is big, it may take a lot of time to validate.
Time, and 10 times it might get validated again the same thing, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we'll need a unique number, right?
Yeah, unique numbers.
So in such cases, you can use database concepts itself. Okay, don't generate through a code.
Mhm.
You can write some sequences or many more things in the database to generate a number. That will be handled by database itself. So when you store data, don't do something in coding. Database itself will return something. Now it's a headache of database. You got my point?
Right.
Data is stored, so it's like a primary key.
Mhm.
Correct?
Right, right,
So primary key should not be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 only.
right.
Correct. In MongoDB, how this primary key handles?
So I know that primary key is like a unique key, which
But
is
that is there in the MySQL, right?
yeah.
But how that is there in the Mongo?
Uh,
Or it's not there?
I know that foreign keys are not there in MongoDB.
Yeah.
I'm not very sure about.
But how uniqueness of the records will be identified in MongoDB?
There would be a unique identifier, but I'm not very aware about.
So what is the indexing in MongoDB?
Right, indexing is like the way we have indexing an array, that every element has its unique place.
Mhm.
Similarly, in MongoDB also we have indexing, where each binary code, your binary code has a index value, so that we can access particular.
Why do we do indexing?
Um, why indexing? Indexing, sir, is it's easier to fetch data from indexing.
Yeah, it's easy means what?
Easy means
Yeah, it's faster to retrieve.
faster to retrieve.
Okay, if you look at indexing is a concept used by RDBMS, NoSQL databases, and many more. Even your laptop is using indexes. When you search something,
Hmm.
if you put that complete drive for indexing, next time when you search, it will be easy.
Right.
Right now, there are multiple JSON stored in the Mongo, right? If you do indexing, database will also know which row is for what.
Right. Right.
So next time whenever you are doing query, it's very easy to retrieve.
Retrieve data. Right.
Understood?
Yes.
It's just to make process faster.
Right.
Got my point?
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of questions I have asked you. Should I ask you more questions?
Yes, sir, no issues.
What is middleware?
Middleware is a function, sir, which is used to. It is like used to handle the request from client to server and from server to client. So it's like a middleware which acts like Express is a middleware which helps us to handle
It's a
various
bridge
operations.
between database and front end.
Yeah.
Correct?
To handle multiple operations, whatever operations.
What are the callback functions?
So callback functions are a function which is passed inside a function as an argument.
Mm-hmm.
It is also known as higher order functions. So callback functions, the beauty of JS is that we can actually pass a function as an argument inside a function to perform a particular action. For example, set timeout is a higher order function which takes an function as an argument inside it.
Mm-hmm.
So we can pass a particular function inside it and we can delay it using the set timeout.
Let's say you created an application like sign up page. You want to put one validation for phone number. How you will do that? Where you will do that, or how you will do that?
I can put it into the number input box. Sir. I can first put the inside the HTML. I can use input as number to validate whether it's number or not. First of all, that. After that, if I want it for the number specifically, so I can use regex to
Where in which file you will use that?
In JavaScript, sir.
Okay.
In JavaScript, I can use regular expressions to
Mhm.
form a string where the number should, number should be start.
If
not
I do
more than
view
10.
source, will I able to see JavaScript functions also?
Uh, you can actually see the source code if you go into your source tab inside the DevTools. But mostly, if you just inspect, you will find the HTML code on the front side.
But if I change that, then
You can't modify the JavaScript, but you can modify the HTML or CSS.
so if
properties.
you make type input, I'll make it type text. Then
Yeah, but it will happen on the local system only, sir.
that's
If you
okay, now.
change.
But I will able to submit the data, right?
No, no. There would be whatever changes you are making would be just for that locally on that page.
No, because I changed type input to number to text. It's for my local, I understand.
Okay.
But website is open at my local.
Right.
You was restricting me not to type something over there, right?
Mhm.
But now I am able to write.
The functionality of regex is used on JavaScript, sir, so you
Perfect.
cannot
So
manipulate.
you will not rely on only that type input.
Yes,
You'll be putting validations in the regex also.
regex also.
So you don't do any validation at the express side.
Yeah, we can do the validation at Express side also. Before putting it into the database, I can check the format of.
Which is preferable.
Mostly, if when the data is getting into the database, that's the last checkpoint where the data should be checked. So it is important over there. We can do it before also. We can do it afterwards. Afterwards is much important than the before one.
So in express it is more important. So
Yes.
that will be called as server side validations.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because you cannot rely on client side, because as text box can be changed, JavaScript also can be changed.
Manipulate.
Because you are giving your page into the hand of client. You can do anything then.
Right.
So it is utmost important that you will be validating that at the express level also.
Right.
Correct. So that things will not disturb. Okay, things will be in our control.
Right, sir.
How you put queries to MongoDB?
We can use MongoDB's UI, Mongoose, to put the. It's a Mongo shell command where we can write queries for Mongo.
Can you give me an example of updating a document?
Updating a document.
How you will update something?
Update a document inside MongoDB you're talking about?
Permanent storage, that's MongoDB only.
Right, right. I've actually not used queries inside MongoDB yet.
Not inside MongoDB. In Express, you need to write something so that data will get updated there, right? So you have not used that?
I haven't used MongoDB.
Yeah, you already told me that you have not finished the syllabus, I think. So
Yes.
end-to-end application is not been created.
Right.
I see that you have created project constructive Amazon.com clone.
Yes, sir.
But was that only HTML, CSS you used there only?
Yes, JavaScript is which I was implementing. It's still.
So I cannot see React project in your resume right now.
React is also I'm building, sir.
Okay, but not yet put in the.
No, I've put JavaScript
Mhm.
and HTML, CSS, and I have some Python projects. I'm working on React projects right now.
You are from Symbiosis, right?
Yes, sir.
In college. Great. You know GitHub?
Yes.
So how you put your code in the GitHub?
There are multiple ways. You can do git init inside your project file to initialize a git
From VS Code?
from VS Code, yes, or maybe a git application which we get inside our we can install in our laptop. So from there it gets a git shell command where we can use the commands of git. Or
So how
else
you push your file to Git?
to push, it's git push which we do, but before that we have to commit also, and we have to add
What
files.
difference between commit and push?
Commit is like the commitment which we are making before initializing the file inside the git repository. So git commit needs a message with it, so we try to put a message with git commit that what is the actual commitment which we are making inside
And
the
then
file.
you are pushing the files.
Then we push the file.
Okay. If you didn't modify anything in your file, will you able to push the file?
if you didn't modify anything in the file, then maybe the file is already updated.
So
if
will
you
that
modify,
commit push will work or not?
if we add any file, then git add is done. If there is any modification in the file, then we do git commit. And if there's nothing changes, then it's already.
Still, if you try that, then
If you do git push, it will work, but there will be no changes.
let's say Git is here, you are working there, I'm working here.
Right.
You have one file.
Mhm.
You wrote ABCD and you will do commit push, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I write PQR in that file.
Okay.
I'll also try to commit and push. Will it happen after you?
If you have admin, if you are the admin of that repo, then it will happen.
Then you will lose your code, right?
Yes, but I'll have a version. Whatever commits which we make inside Git, we have a record of all the
But
commits.
still, it's not good idea, right?
Yeah, it's
Mahesh doesn't know what Kiran is doing. Kiran is putting his code. Another
Yeah.
day, Mahesh comes in.
that's why it's a better idea to create a branch and then pull requests from there.
No,
So-
actually, what happens here, Kiran will not able to commit. It will be asked by Git to Kiran that somebody has updated a code, or might be Mahesh has already updated a code.
Mhm.
Please take latest copy of that code first, and then you add your lines. So I'll have ABCD as well, and then PQR as well.
Yeah,
That's what the Git
repo.
is.
Right,
Otherwise, there is no. You can use then Google Drive also
right, sir.
for storing of files, right, and
Yeah.
sharing among the people, right. So what happens here? Put your file. You Mahesh will be putting, but Kiran will not be able to, because Mahesh and Kiran will be having a 0 version maybe. But as soon Mahesh puts a file, it becomes 1, and what Kiran had 0.
Mhm.
Correct.
Right.
Kiran should have version 1. Then only he can increment 1 to 2.
Right.
You got my point?
Right.
So this versioning happens in between.
Yes, sir.
Why to do branching?
To differentiate different sectors of the project.
So did you ever use that?
Yes, sir. During my college time, during
Oh, so you might have forgotten. Should I consider that, or should I ask you?
yes, I can.
So why to do branching there?
Branching so that, sir, it doesn't interrupt the functionality of the whole code to each individual. There is some dev team, there are some testing teams, so
Correct.
everyone can then fork their code according to their needs and can implement and test their codes on their end. And
So
then-
correct. But in simple words, if I say Kiran is your manager, okay, and let's say Shubham is a customer.
Right.
So you coded something,
Mhm.
so you gave to Kiran as well as Shubham.
Right.
Now you start working on that project again for enhancing something. Got my point?
Mhm.
Now again you submit it to Kiran, but not to Shubham.
Mhm.
You understood the scenario? Shubham had old copy,
Mhm.
and that is a customer.
Right.
Now if Shubham raised some point,
Mhm.
no, I need black, no, I don't need black color, I need blue color.
Mhm.
Then Mahesh will get confused.
Right.
So Mahesh will say, I already done something now that need not to be given to Shubham.
Mhm.
So you'll create one branch for Kiran. One branch is already delivered to client, right?
Mhm.
Another branch you'll be creating for next version.
Mhm.
And if some requirements come from client, that is Shubham, then you'll be working on old branch,
Mhm.
new workspace.
Right.
You got my point?
Right.
Otherwise there will be conflict, right?
Right.
You'll get frustrated. Again reverting a code.
Yes.
Again, 10 files you created extra.
Mhm. Right.
Then you need to give only blue color.
Right.
That 10 files will also go. So that
Right.
should not happen. So to distinguish between, as you said, between teams or between customers, you do branching.
Right.
I hope you got the thing right.
Yes.
What are the streams in Node.js?
Streams in Node.js.
Hmm.
Can you elaborate, sir, a little bit?
Like readable, writable stream, duplex.
Uh,
Like when you receive or sending a data,
mhm.
that is one of the type of stream. Okay, not a problem. Why we need sessions?
Sessions
Hmm?
in Node.js.
Yeah.
Sessions can be used to similarly like in the Git sessions are like Git versions are created of what was the flow of structure. Similarly in Node there's a sessions where we
In
can
Node, it's not there. Actually, it's in Express. You need to use session model for that.
Okay.
Because let's say there are 4 forms.
Mhm.
You are putting your personal detail, then you are putting your qualification.
Mhm.
So personal detail, then next button. Got my point?
Okay.
Then you are filling personal detail and then clicking submit button.
Right.
So what is going to happen here? After next, you cannot save into database because it is not permanent data.
Mhm.
You might close the browser, right?
Right.
So there is no use of storing that.
Mhm.
So you keep that into the session.
Mhm.
Like
Okay.
Express provide that module, okay? But that is again at the advanced level. Being a fresher, you might not need that. But it's a simple application, right? You might need. Okay, so explore by yourself such things. Ask many questions might be related to experience.
Okay.
So keep on exploring these things, how the things done, like tokens and everything. Try to build an application, do R&D.
Right.
Correct. Because academic is one thing which you already done in Symbiosis. Then you came to the Kiran Academy. Here one thing happens. But what you need to become is mix of your academics, Kiran Academy and something else. So you'll be different version of yourself, right?
Yes.
Because you need to crack an interview, you need to sit in the company, and you need to perform out there.
Right.
Correct. No problem. Any other server side language you know than the Express?
Server sites. No, these two are the one I have worked.
Okay.
Node.js and Express.
What is the difference between double equal to and triple equal to in JavaScript?
So sir, double equals to, it's like equivalent operator. So double equals to checks whether the left side and the right side datas are similar or not. And triple equals to, it checks, it's a strict operator which checks even the data types of the both left and right sides data. So if it's a number and a string, but a number 5 and a string 5, in double equals to, it will validate as a true. But if there would be triple equals to, which is a strict checking condition of operators, if there would be a string of 5 and a number of 5, it will give a false because they need
Which you
data
will
types
use
as
more?
well. Sorry, sir?
Which you will use more?
Triple equals to is used more because we generally don't take two different types of data types to compare. So strict mode of using the equivalent operator is used more.
When to use put and delete request?
Put and delete.
Put. When to use put?
When we want to actually manipulate the existing data in the server, sir, at that time we use put request.
If you want to
Manipulate or change in the already existing data.
rather say update.
Update, right?
When to use patch?
Patch is when, so I don't remember patch. I remember get put.
If I ask you to implement show and hide nature of something in JavaScript, how will you do that? Show and hide.
Okay.
I would say like, expand button is there, plus button. Click means show.
Right.
Minus button click means hide, collapse.
Right.
How you will implement that?
Can you elaborate me a little bit, sir, so that I can...
Let's say Mahesh is a name,
Okay.
and all Mahesh personal detail is displayed.
Okay.
Then Kiran and all personal detail displayed. Done.
Right.
Mahesh is a H1 maybe header tag,
Okay.
and then your personal detail body.
Okay.
Then Kiran, then again body.
Details. Right.
Got the point. Now after clicking on Mahesh,
Mhm.
things should collapse.
Okay.
Then Kiran collapse.
Okay.
Click on Kiran, show.
Okay. So we'll have to use JavaScript.
Yeah.
We can
perfect.
add event listeners.
Mhm.
So if you're talking about like a toggle button, that when you click on my name, then all the information is like in a drop down menu comes into a picture.
Yeah. So which is CSS style or something you will use?
I can use so event listener would be click or maybe over any of that.
No, that's okay. After clicking, one event will get fired.
Right. And I can use
There will be something called display.
Yeah, display.
block,
Okay.
none.
Display. So display none. If I did, so it will be easier because if I do visibility, hidden, it will take the space on the page. So display none, which would be, I will choose that. It would be display none.
But it will
before-
collapse, right? Display none means it will collapse. Now, how you will show then?
On the event fire, I'll do the display as
Yeah, so display colon none means it will not show.
not show the data.
Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Now, again click.
Mhm.
Again, you go to some function and you want to show, right?
Yes.
So, what? Display what?
Display. Display, I can do flex maybe.
Okay.
I can do display flex or
There will be block.
block.
BLOCK. Okay.
Yeah.
Which databases does Express supporting?
It supports various Postgres, MySQL, MongoDB, then SQL Server, all these data types it supports.
You know HTML properly.
Yes.
How you write input tag? Maximum, give maximum attributes.
Number, email,
Yeah,
passwords.
but that is a type, right? It's a value of type.
Right.
Number or password or text or radio button, right?
Right.
I don't want that.
Okay.
These are the value of attributes.
Mhm.
I need attributes.
Okay. Attributes.
I'll give you example.
Placeholder.
Input is a tag.
Right.
Correct. Go ahead.
Placeholder is one, sir. Then we have all height. So these are like height and width are HTML also and CSS also. But for input, we have height and width also, which we have in HTML.
You cannot have big text box or small text box. For big, you need to go to text area, right?
Yeah, text area we can use for the bigger area.
So why to use height and width then?
Yeah, so that's true.
Correct.
More attributes. These are the two attributes which was mostly used by
Type,
type or
Placeholder.
placeholder. Then we
value,
yes, value, name,
name,
ID,
ID. What's the difference between
class.
name and ID?
Name and ID. ID is a unique identifier of that particular element, and a name is used to access the value of that particular. So in JavaScript, we use name to retrieve the data from that particular input.
But it's the same then, ID and name, right? Okay, so in input tag, there is something called size, right? That is also an attribute.
Yes.
So why it might be used?
To define how much width do we need for the input box.
If you don't give that, then what is going to happen? Will
It
text
has-
box appear or not?
Yeah, a text box will appear, but it will have a default. Its height and width.
So what's the problem? It is showing default, right?
But according to page responsiveness, if we want some manipulation of how long or how
Yeah, correct. And one more thing in that. If you use Mozilla, it will be different.
Yes,
Firefox, Chrome, it will be different by default behavior. So
Yes, sir.
it is the responsibility of a developer to make it something like this much would be the weight, this much should be the size. Every browser,
right.
right? Yeah. So what do you think? MERN can be used in the mobile applications also?
Yes, sir. React Native can be helped to make it responsive, or we can use CSS frameworks to make it responsive. So yeah, we can use.
Okay. Okay. So Mahesh, I have taken a lot of things, a lot of questions I have asked, but now it's time for feedback. So in JavaScript, I want to ask something. How you see errors if JavaScript function fails?
We can see using the node by running the node on that particular file, or else we can use the dev tool to inspect and check.
Did you ever face any issue like that? So you
Yes,
check.
sir.
Can you
Reference
explain
errors.
the scenario?
Reference errors, many times syntax errors when I put some.
Anything you recall?
So, sir,
Specific one.
reference errors I have got when hoisting hoisting which I have done. So many times I have declared some variables. So I have got undefined many times. So I wanted to check how the data flows. So I knew I have actually read the V8 engine's working flow of how GIS structure works. So I got to know that first the data is retrieved. Initializing of the data is done in the beginning phase, and then the interpreter runs through each line of the code. So that is how I started to know that
So
reference.
just the answer was like undefined that you faced is somewhere and that been solved through this Java dev tool or Node.js.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm good with this. Now, what I would suggest you to explore more because your base is pakka now. So most of the things are good, fundamentals are strong, and but this is today's story. You have many more days again. You are searching a job, and many more days are there. So I expect not to focus on the basic things now because that you already done. Again, you are doing same thing. It will not matter for your career. So now HTML you know. So just find out tricky questions on HTML to crack the interviews I'm saying, because you will be able to work in organization because I understand what you spoke and how you was delivering your answers, how you were representing. You have good working exposure. Even though you are a fresher, you have not worked in an organization, but still you can work. But you need to crack good interviews. Already you know the market is too choosy about the candidates now.
Right.
So in such cases, let's say HTML, so find out most trickiest question. Okay, now you are good at the working on the HTML also. So find out those high level questions now. JavaScript, find out high level questions. At least do 10 questions. When I was talking to you in background, you should say, you were saying like there should be some limit to reading because what to read that I'm not getting because it's just too big. Even JavaScript developers are earning too big packages because they are JavaScript developers. They don't mind what is React and all. So it's a big field. Okay, but most trickiest question, keep reading. So on HTML, JavaScript, then in Express, then in Node, add the value. You have in your mind something about Node, right? That is today's status. Tomorrow's status should be addition of at least 2-3 questions. Then you can accumulate those. Daily, even 2 questions you add in your mind. Yes or no? Possible or not?
Right.
Only 2 questions.
Yes.
But that should be bigger. Don't feel like these are the experienced questions for experienced people or these for the fresher people. There is nothing like that. Because when person like us sit and when you start talking, then we forget whether you are fresher or experienced. You should remind us that you are a fresher. Because when people answers, we understand, oh, he doesn't know big things. So then we'll ask basic. But when you start talking, feeling is like you should know the great things. So explore as much as possible. Do one project. I'm very happy that whatever real-time questions I asked, you answered those like undefined. Now that question itself says that you worked. I don't need to take your machine test always. When you say undefined, that happens. When I was asking you validations or something, that time you was demonstrating yourself that you have really did a projects. I asked you about your college projects also. Okay. So I think now your focus should be that more higher level questions rather this academics or institute level questions. Okay. So obviously you will be getting things. You are from the reputed college, that's Symbiosis. So they have good reputation. So again, one more factor happens when we see that again people start asking questions on the basis of like that. Expectations are more, and you are the only person who can crack that. I hope you like this interview.
Yes, I loved it.
And this interview will be seen by many people again, and they will also understand. They will also learn things. Okay. So best of luck for your future.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, sir.